Well, hello there, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. This is your update video from Monday, August 1st, 2022. We are here in the last half of the year. It is quite hard to believe. 5 more months until 2023. But they're going to be great months. We've got some really exciting things ahead of us, coming ahead of us here this fall. We've got a lot of activities going. I have to think back to 2 years ago from this point when we were doing, we were continuing to operate as a team, continuing to operate as a church. We were 6 weeks into being reopened from our COVID shutdown, and we really had no outside programs or opportunities going for our folks. And where we sit 2 years now, past that, is just such a more encouraging and bright place. And I'm grateful for that. I hope you're grateful for that too. I hope you're excited what the Lord has allowed us to do the last couple of years and what He's got in front of us going ahead. Well, I've got 3 things for you today, and I don't want to take your time too much. I just want to jump right in and get going here. But all that to say, I want to thank all of you who served yesterday morning. Of course, I was out for the day. As I mentioned last week, we were celebrating some exciting family milestones. So as we celebrated those milestones, it was nice to be able to have you guys step in and take the baton and run with it. And I really appreciate that. Thanks to those of you who led and of course, to all who served. I also want to mention that we've got a couple of new guys who have joined the team here in the last week. Their names are Eric and Andrew. Great guys. I've had an opportunity to meet with them both here over the last couple of weeks. And of course, they've jumped in after our broadcast team promo that we've been doing. And as you see those guys, say hello to them. Eric's going to be serving with the projection team on Sunday mornings. And Andrew is going to be serving with cameras, with the camera team and the projection team eventually as well. Like I said, really great guys, and am so thrilled to have them on the team. And of course, as you see them, as you meet them and get to know them, make them feel like family, because they are. All right, well, let's jump in today. I've got 3 things here for us. The first thing is, and I mentioned this in last week's video, but that is our scheduling for September and October. Many of you went ahead and jumped right in and submitted your blockout dates last week whenever I brought it up, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank you all for doing that. For those who haven't, take a moment. Well, my light went out. You're just going to have to watch me here right in the dark, all right? Sorry about that. So if you haven't had an opportunity to put in your blockout dates, it really does only take about 30 seconds to do. So please take that time right now. Go over to Planning Center, pull open your schedule, and then go ahead and put in your blockout dates. If you don't know how to do that, whether on the desktop app or the iOS app, I put some pretty extensive details in last week's weekly update video. Just scroll through your email, find that, or go to our YouTube channel. You can find that in the playlist called The Weekly, and look for that information. If you do all of that and you still can't find the information you need, well, then please, you've got the freedom to go ahead and reach out to me. I'll make sure you're taken care of. But please follow that process. Go through, submit your blockout dates, and all will be good in the world. You will have about a week to do that. I would like for all of those to be in by Sunday evening, because next Monday I'm going to be asking your team leaders to start putting together your schedules. The other nice thing is, if you're on a smaller team with only 4 or 5 other people, once your team leader, like I said, your team leader gets email notifications whenever you submit blockout dates. Once they have all of those blockout dates in, they can go ahead and get a jump start on putting your schedule together as well. So, just be, I know we've all got a lot going on, but be proactive. Make sure to get those in and keep them updated. Okay, second thing this week that I want to bring up is the choir cookout. We've been promoting this for the last month or so, and this is kind of going to be our official kickoff to the 2022-2023 choir season. It'll be this Sunday evening at 5:30 p.m., August 7th, 5:30 p.m. We'll be hanging out at Rick and Sheila Rankin's house. We're going to have kind of your standard outdoor barbecue fare. And if you want to, if you want to bring a side, you're welcome to do that as well. Sheila's been putting some information out over on the Facebook page, so check that out. And then tomorrow or Wednesday, she'll also send out an email with lots of details for Sunday. She'll give you her address, information on where to park, and then if you've not yet submitted, what side you're going to bring, you can get that information there. I will say to those of you who are brand new team members, and who are brand new, to singing with the choir. This is, we just want to serve you. Don't feel pressure to bring anything. Just come along and enjoy and get to know people. I know when you join a new church and you, become a part of a new group of people who have a history and who've been together for a while, that can be really intimidating. And I want you to have that opportunity to get to know people in a low-pressure situation. I think back, it'll be 8 years ago on this Thursday was my first day at First Baptist Maryville. 8 years ago this coming Thursday, first day at FB Maryville. And I remember the anxiousness around meeting a whole new group of people who I had never met before and beginning a new chapter of life. And for some who are joining in, that is where they are. So let's do everything that we can to make them feel comfortable and make them feel welcome. And of course, those of you who are already a part of the choir, I'm going to lean on you to really make those connections, as I will be as well. All right, so 5:30 p.m. this Sunday. Come on over and let's have a great kickoff to the 2022-2023 performance season. Let's see here. A couple of reminders just about choir. Our first rehearsal's coming up in about 3 weeks. Of course, they'll be on Sunday afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. And if you've not signed up, even if you've participated in choir in the past, I still want you to sign up because I want to have an idea of who we're going to have and how many we're going to have per part. Please take a moment, go to the spreadsheet, go to the sign-up form. I'm including it in today's description, so you can take a look at it down there, or you can look at all the previous update videos. We've included it there as well. But go sign up for choir, and then we'll have all the necessary details that we'll need in order to get the year kicked off. And then finally, on the choir front, please continue to promo it. Like I said, this word of mouth is huge, and you pushing this opportunity in all of your different outlets is really a big help whenever it comes to promo. You can also, I think our choir is also a great opportunity for those who go to other churches and maybe even churches who don't have a church choir but who want to participate in choir. This is a really great connection point, and I'm open to those folks being a part of it, especially because a lot of the things we do with the choir is kind of outside of the regular weekend service schedule, and I think this is just a great place to connect. Okay, that is everything as far as new information is concerned today. I want to wrap up our time together and take a moment and just do something that I'm calling Remember Your Calling. Remember Your Calling. I spend a lot of time whenever we're together trying to focus your attention on the big picture of what it is that we're doing. I want each one of you to have a clear vision of what it is we're trying to accomplish. And, we communicate that in many different ways, and we've communicated that in many different forms and platforms over the years. But I always try to take an opportunity to provide a reminder of what we're doing. Whenever it comes to communicating, I'm not good at short, pithy, memorable little sayings that you can just latch onto and take with you. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, I'm just not wired that way, and it's hard for me to come up with those things. They don't speak to me, I know, like they speak to other people. But number two, it's just not a skill that I've really honed or really developed. So I try to do, I guess, what comes a little more natural and just talk about these ideas as they're top of mind. Whenever it comes to the purpose and the vision of what it is we're trying to accomplish. One of the things I talk about often, I talk about culture often, I talk about singing, but one of the things related to both of those that I talk about often is your calling, it's your vocation, how you serve God's people and God's other people. And I tend to think of this outside of the context, outside of our shared context here together. We are a team of mostly volunteers who come together for the purpose of leading God's people at FB Maryville, or First Baptist Maryville, in worship every single weekend and special events throughout the year. That's kind of our purpose for coming together. But as someone who wants to encourage you holistically, and I run a ministry and I lead a team of people, and I have tasks and responsibilities and have to lead people to accomplishing things. But I try to interact with you and lead you in such a way that that helps you flourish outside of just the context of you being a part of the worship team. I want to be able to do things and help you in ways that are going to help you in the totality of your life, and just use the platform of the worship team and the platform of our time together to model that and to encourage that for all of you. So whenever I talk today about the word calling, and I use the word vocation, I really speak holistically about this across the broad spectrum of your life. Not just as someone who serves on the worship team, not just you as a parent or you as a child of parents, or a spouse or even a worker or a friend. I really mean that all of those things together, because all of those things are what makes us whole as people. And so today, as I come to this section and I ask you to remember your calling, I want to remind you that you do have a calling on your life. Not all of us have the Moses burning bush calling on our lives. Not all of us have, Rebecca's calling that she gets from Abraham's servant. Not all of us have those types of callings on our life. In fact, I would guess that maybe none of us who are connected here together have those types of callings. And those are unique callings that, not everybody should expect to have a burning bush experience. But the fact is, God has put a calling on your life, and He's done things to make that obvious to you. Maybe He's, maybe He uses the affirmation of other people to do it. Maybe He uses your desires to do that. What do you enjoy doing? What do you, what do you look forward to doing? And then oftentimes He just puts circumstances in our path that we have no ability to deal with other than to go through them. And that's part of our calling as well. And so as we think about our calling, I don't just mean you as a member of the worship team, and I don't just mean you as one segment of yourself, but I mean you holistically. And I want to encourage you to be faithful to that calling, to work hard, to pursue it with all the God-given vigor that you have, because if you pursue God's calling on your life faithfully, there will be a day of reward for you. And there will be blessing and reward along the way. Let's, as we wrap up here today, let's go to the book of Matthew. Now, I'm going to say this, and those of you who've been on the team for a long time, you know this. I'm not a master exegete by any means. I study the scripture faithfully. I work hard to interpret accurately based on strong hermeneutical principles and the work of the church fathers, the faithful church fathers of the past, and of course the Spirit of God living within me. I strive to do all of that, but my primary vocation is not an exegete or one who exegetes scripture, I should say, for the church. However, this passage of scripture has a lot of wisdom in it and has a lot that you can has a lot of low-hanging fruit that you can just gather as you go along. And this is Matthew 25 verses 14 through 26. And in the ESV it says this is the parable of the talents, a lot of you know. For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted them to his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them and made 5 talents more. So also he who had 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, and this is key right here, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. I love that. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward saying, Master, you delivered me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I know you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and I hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant. Those are strong words right there. You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gathered where I scattered no seed. I think that often we think of sin in the church as things that we do, sins that we actively pursue, and things that are just willful disobedience against the Lord. But there are sins of passivity. There's sins of omission as well. And here's one right here. And the master looks at the servant who has sinned and said, You wicked and slothful servant. Well, guys, I don't want any of you, whenever you stand before the Lord, I don't want any of you to hear those words. I want all of you to hear, Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. Enter into the joy of your master. So let me encourage you, whatever God has called you to do. Some of you, he's called to serve in certain capacities on the worship team. All of you, I should say, all of you watching this video, he's called you to serve in some capacity on the worship team. Do so in a way that it has a return of your time. You'll notice the one who had 5 talents had brought back 5 talents. That's a 100% return on investment. That's amazing. That's fantastic. I want investments like that. The one who had 2 brought back 2, and of course the one who had 1 brought back 1. serve in such a way. Serve as a parent, serve as a child, serve as a spouse, and then whatever occupation you do, serve in such a way. Not hardly any of you are called into full-time ministry, and that's a good thing. Full-time ministry is not like a higher calling for in the life of the believer. Being faithful to the calling you've been given, that's the higher calling for the believer. And so let me encourage you in that. Continue with ambition, continue and continue zealously toward the calling that God has given you. The motivation for serving the Lord throughout our lives should be obedience. Love for the Father, love that He has brought us out of darkness into life, and that He has given us good work to do here on earth, and that one day He will reward us in heaven for that as well. Well, everybody, I hope you guys have a great day and, of course, a great week. I'm looking forward to being back with you next Sunday on August 7th. Just let me remind you as we go today, still encourage people to sign up for choir. We are still adding people to the broadcast team because we, as I've mentioned in past weeks, we've got a lot of spots that we are adding with the new worship center. So please continue to encourage those who who would be a good fit for the team to sign up. And of course, we're still giving out. It's still raining Bobby's gift cards over here, I should say. Take care of your blockout dates ASAP. And then last thing today, we've got children's choir that's going to be starting up here soon. That'll be in some new information in the weekly coming up in a couple of weeks. But we are looking for a couple of people to work with the K2, kindergarten through second grade group. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of energy. And it would be about an hour a week that you would be working with them on rehearsals. If this is something that you're interested in doing, they rehearse on Wednesday nights. I would love for a couple of you to jump in, help out with this. A couple of you who have interest and a passion for working with younger kids. If that's you, let me know. I would love to get you plugged in. Okay, everybody else, I hope you have a fantastic week. We will see you next weekend. Take care, everybody.